Hey everyone. If you had seen on Instagram, we were looking at a possible fix and flip, and this was my first time ever uh, trying to find private lending or a hard money loan. So I just wanted to walk through what that process was for me and kind of how it went. It's basically like an interview. So they're screening you to make sure that there's not too much risk and that the asset that you're looking at to get a loan for, it's usually going to be a fix and flip or rehab and refinance. Either way, the broker or the hard money lender wants to know that you are credible, reputable, and can pull it off. And if not, that the asset actually supports your claim. So it's a lot of homework. You're finding the deal, which is normal. That's what you would do if you were going to finance it yourself. And to the seller, it looks exactly like that's the case. So after we found the house and I had kind of budgeted for what the repairs would be, then I knew what my margin, so for example, we'll just kind of throw out some numbers here. The purchase price, $300,000. The ARV, after repair value, 450, 425 to 450. And the cost of repairs, I budgeted around 50,000. So then you're looking at, the gross is sale we'll just say 450. Cost of repairs, 50,000. The purchase price, 300. So we're looking at a 100,000, like gross profit. And then after the fees, because title transfer, closing costs, that would probably eat up another, we'll just round it up to 10,000. So then there's 90K there. And then what I was accounting for was how much is it going to cost to borrow the money? And that's going to fluctuate based on your credit, your experience, and your relationship with the lender. So, if it sounds like a really sweet deal and the asset is very promising, then you might get better terms. They offered me 10% initially for 6 months, and the cost of the money I think was going to be somewhere around what was it? I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks, but I kind of had budgeted for like 15,000. And so I think it was actually less than that. It was going to be, I don't know, 10 grand or something like that. So then, had everything worked out, we're looking at, then when you go to sell it, you're going to have more fees. So another 10K probably. So we're looking at like a 50 to 70K net on this flip, and a turnaround time. That's the other thing, is during that process, they want to know step by step what your timeline is and how you're going to execute this. So if you basically want to already know A to Z before you call them and say, hey, can I get, you know, X amount of dollars to do this? And this was my first time, but anytime before I even, start to get the bubbles in the stomach of, okay, this is happening, I've crunched all the numbers and I know roughly what we're looking at in terms of financing, or in terms of like the costs and expenses, and then also what does the in scenario look like? Are we selling it? Are we going to rent it out? And the thing is, it would have made a really great rental too. I just wanted to experience what a flip would be like and develop a relationship with a hard money lender, so that this is, potentially a process that I could do more than just one time. Didn't end up happening, but it was a great learning experience, and I hope through this video it prompts you to look at, potential fix and flips, or something that you can rehab and then go to a conventional lender, get a loan on, which would pay off the hard money that you borrowed over that 6 to 12 month period. And yeah, I mean, I didn't go in with any experience or knowledge or relationship with a hard money lender or private money. So, I mean, it's really open to anyone. The main things that they look at: credit above 550, so having credit that they can pull, an asset that supports not only the cost basis, the repairs, and then, the cost of the money to borrow it for that period of time. And then what is the market value? What will the market support? And realistically, based on your repairs, what is it going to bring? So knowing how to run comps and confidently, articulate like, yeah, based on the market, based on these repairs, the amenities, square footage, blah, 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 this is what it's worth. Because during one of our final talks, so about 3 phone calls, some emails sent back and forth. They have a general contract of what the asset is, what assets you have. You're not actually putting up any collateral. The collateral is the asset that they're financing for you. So, yeah, your assets. I don't know if he was testing me, but it was like, no, I don't think it's worth that much. It looks like it's worth this much based on this comp I pulled. And I was like, okay, well, what was the comp? So we shared the comp, and it was like right off 82nd, no developed streets, across from a mobile home park. But that's area specific information that I have, which depresses the value of that comp and makes it, in comparison to the house that I was looking at, a lot less valuable, and explains why that house renovated in that area of Portland, even though it's only a mile away, went for $330, and here I am projecting the value of this home to be $420, $450. And so knowing the things that add value to a property, aside from just where it's located, the age, the amenities, does it have a garage? How much property comes with it? The neighborhood stats, specific details. Does it have gas? what things are going to need to be replaced, what things can just be kind of throw some paint on it and call it good, and how long those repairs take, you know. So you can go in blind, but I think if you follow a reasonable process of how myself or any other investor would go about calculating and constructing what the process would be, and you do that, you know, do your homework, then you can go to private money and confidently pitch this asset in this time frame with these repairs will be worth this much. And it really is that simple. So just having a good a reasonable understanding of the basics, and then really pitching that. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in the private lender that I went through, because there was one that I contacted on the East Coast and they didn't do residential in Portland, Oregon. That's where I'm at. So I had to find a local lender, and then it was no problem. So don't feel discouraged if the first person you reach out to isn't the one, but recognize that maybe there is a possibility there, because they were like, well, we can do commercial loans. So if you had more than 4 units or a commercial property, then we could finance on that. So just recognize that, you know, the lenders are looking for viable people to loan money to. That's how they make their money. So if you find a good deal, you can probably find a private lender somewhere. You know, there's someone that wants in on the deal. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. And like I said, if you want to see the contract that I had to fill out, like an asset statement, general information about myself, I'd be happy to send that over. You can just DM with your email, whatever. Anywho, let me know if this inspires you to find a property and start looking for deals. All right, see you guys.